Hey, welcome everybody to the show today. A little coffee talk, just a little time we get together in the mornings, have a cigar, have a cup of coffee.
Yeah, probably the last time before I leave.
Yep.
Unless we get one more, but yeah. So we're gonna have a little discussion, have a little idea where it's gonna lead. We're gonna have this coffee and have a nice cigar. So here we go.
Hey, welcome back, guys. Let's see what you got. Anything?
All right. So both of the cigars are from Privada Cigar Club. I have the Mansa. The Mansa Parejo, I believe, is what it is. It's a cigar made by Dr. Gabby Coffee. He made it down in Honduras. It's got some Nicaraguan. It's got, I think it's Connecticut broadleaf. And he made it, he didn't disclose too much about it. Dr. Gabby Coffee, he makes really great cigars, really good cigars. He deals with coffee and stuff. He's a member of the Privada Club. He's always involved. The one thing I'll have to say about him that's really spectacular is if there's ever an issue with any of his cigars, if any of the club members have an issue and you contact him, he fixes it. He sends you a new cigar. If it's not the same cigar, he'll send you another one. Incredible person. And it's just, again, one of the type of people we get in that club.
All right. I got a Crema cigar, which is it's an American old cigar. Back when they made them for like 10 cents a cigar. And they're now being made, one of the companies that are now making them is in Miami, Florida, and it uses a nice Dominican Republic and Nicaraguan. All right, I can never say that.
Nicaraguan.
Thank you. That's just a word I can't seem to ever say right. But we're gonna try it. It's got some nice notes about it, some decent history, so we're gonna check it out.
And it looks like a perfect cigar with coffee.
And I am a light cigar in the mornings. I like a stronger, darker cigar in the evenings and when I do whiskey and stuff like that. But when I'm doing a coffee with creamer, which is what is in my cup right now, I like to do a light cigar.
Right off the bat, the construction on this looks really good. It's got a deep, rich flavor. Maybe some notes. I mean, it's just off the foot, so I can't really tell. Maybe some notes of coffee, or maybe like even stout, I would say. Deep and rich, chocolatey. Yeah, I would go deep and rich. It's got a little bit of a tight draw, but not like a bad tight draw. It's just can't remember who it is that's pretty much infamous for it, but it's got a nice tight draw, and off the foot it tastes good. I think I got this cigar back in 22. It's been sitting in my collection, aging. As with every Privada cigar that I've ever had, it's good so far. Yeah, chocolate, cedar, maybe a little bit of pecan. I know that there's supposed to be some notes somewhere, like Brian in the cards that he sent said something about like apple pie. Not getting that yet, but very good cigar. Dang, I love these cigars.
Yeah, I drink a nice stronger coffee. I drink Cafe Pistola, which is one of my top two favorite coffees. This, and then probably Death Wish, or Death Magic, or whatever it is. I'd have to look at the bag for sure, but it's something like that. You can buy it at Walmart or anywhere like that.
We both. I mean, like, he gives me a lot of shit for it, but like, he calls my coffees the frou-frou coffees. I put creamer in the coffees that we drink just because why not right now? But typically, like when I go to a restaurant and stuff, and if I get a coffee while I'm out, a hot coffee, it's typically no creamer, no milk. I'll just drink it black. The exception just, like being like a cappuccino, or as he calls them, my frou-frou drinks.
I don't call a cappuccino frou-frou.
No.
Or an espresso. or a cafe Americano. It's when you start adding the multi-layers, like the specialized milks and the cinnamon sprinkles and the whipped cream on top of a hot coffee, and then you start adding pumpkin or other things, Snickers bar creamer and stuff. Those are what I call foo-foo coffees, and I don't have a problem with them. Hey, every Christmas we go out, we drive around, we look at, well, not every Christmas, but most Christmas, Jenny and I we'll drive around, we'll look at Christmas lights. We'll stop, the one time a year we actually will stop at Starbucks, and we will get like the peppermint, whatever seasonal coffee, hot or cold, that they have that on that day we'll buy. But that's pretty much the only time we go to Starbucks, just because we're not huge fans of their everyday coffees and all their stuff. And their prices to us personally are just, it's high for a cup of coffee in my personal opinion.
What I'm hearing is you're a Starbucks bitch.
No. I go once a year.
Yeah, that's what I'm hearing. I don't know about you guys.
He's just trying to level the playing field because he knows how.
I don't like Starbucks. I don't go to Starbucks. We are not. It's not. If the cost isn't enough, if it's the whole ambiance around Starbucks and the snooty and if that wasn't enough to drive me away, I don't like their coffee.
To be honest, a lot of it's just a perceived attitude around Starbucks. I'm not a fan, like a huge fan. But back in the day when I was driving over the road, Starbucks was the coffee shop you could actually get into when you're out on the road. You could find parking. Usually they were in shopping centers where you could find parking in the shopping center and then walk to the Starbucks, which is rare for a lot of other coffee shops. You could count on it. You knew exactly what their menu was from state to state.
Yeah,
you
it's
didn't
always
have to go, shit, I wonder what their coffee would be like here. And so I'd stop there a lot as an over-the-road trucker. Back when I was training, students and I would stop and get coffee. And then also the town I lived in, the only coffee shop they had that you could sit inside of was Starbucks, and they had free Wi-Fi. So I would, where I was living, and the kids would come over for the weekend. We didn't have cable or internet because I was only there for a couple days a week, because I was on the road the rest of the time. So me and the kids, we'd get up early on a Saturday. We'd go up to Starbucks. Everybody would bring their iPads. This is back before we had, like a mobile service for your iPads. I'm sure they had it, but we didn't have it. So we'd take all our computers and iPads up there, and we'd just sit up there and
free Wi-Fi. Yeah.
Get free coffee refills for me because I just drink, dark coffee, regular coffee, and then the kids would get, hot cocoa, coffee as they got a little older. We just sit up there for 2-3 hours. He was laid back, and everybody's super polite.
It did open the door for every student too.
I'm not a hater of Starbucks. The problem I have is I don't like their coffee as well as I like other places' coffee. So why would I go somewhere just by its name alone?
Yeah.
But if I was looking for a place to kill 3 hours and have a cup of coffee while I'm on my iPad or something like that, I totally hit up the Starbucks.
I don't know.
Same as I hit up a Barnes & Noble because they typically have a decent coffee in them and they have a comfortable place to sit and free Wi-Fi. And so why not? So,
this conversation literally is leading us into what I was hoping to talk about. So we're trying a lot of different things to try to find not only our stuff with YouTube and the videos and the channel, but we're trying a lot of things to enjoy things a little bit more, trying to get outside of a box that we put ourselves in as we grow up.
Well, as you get older, you have kids, so you don't go out as much because you gotta get a sitter. It's more expensive, or you gotta take them with you. So you wind up becoming a little more homebody than you were previous to kids. And then that leads into your kids getting older and them going out, and you're home worried about them, and and then eventually you find yourself, you're like, I go out a couple times a month, but the rest of the time I'm just watching TV on the couch or on my iPad or just doing stuff around the house with the wife.
Even when you go out, we tend to, once we get older, we tend to do the same stuff, go to the same places, like the same things, and
you go where you're comfortable.
It's that comfort zone. Thank you. Exactly.
So we're breaking the mold.
So we're trying to explore ways to get out of our comfort zone. With my motorcycle and stuff. Like, I've always wanted to do it, but I've never reached a zone where I'm like, I want to. Now, I drive, but I want to break out of my little pocket and enjoy something else. So that I got the motorcycle.
I know I mentioned this on another show that may or may not have aired. I don't know by the time you see this one. But all 3 of the bikes in my garage now are rideable and leavable, are tagged and legal, and all the owners can now ride them.
Yes.
Which makes me happy because it was very depressing to come out into a garage where there is a perfectly good starter Honda 750 and a very nice Dyna Harley, and then my bagger Harley, and the only one that ever left the garage was mine.
Yeah.
And it just was kind of depressing to see bikes just sitting there wasting away. I knew there were people out there that could ride them and would be more than happy to buy them, especially for the prices we got them for. But yeah, it's good to see them out in the garage. I digress. I went a little far.
Well, I mean, right now
it does my heart good.
Yeah, that's that, and like that's where we're at. We're at a point where right now that's a big part of our life. The bikes, it's a normal part of your life. Like you ride every day. It's just your normal.
I mean, I grew up riding since the time I was, I guess, 16 is when I started riding around on them. 17, I think, is when I started using it as more of a daily rider. And then I got married, and then I had bikes through that. And then I got divorced, and I got remarried. And during the remarriage, I didn't have a bike. So for a good long chunk of my life, the only riding I got was when I would go out to Arizona or Arkansas, to visit a friend, and I'd ride his sport bike through the mountains. Or I'd come down to South Florida, and one of my buddies would have a bike, and I would borrow it for the day. But I didn't own one for a large gap in my life. Well, then I finally, after my separation and divorce from my kid's mother, it took a little while, and I finally decided to move closer to my parents. My mom and dad were getting older, and I wanted to be closer to my family. And so I moved to a little further south Florida, and just decided it's just me most of the time, except for when the kids are here. I could just do better. I'd come off the road due to an accident and just injuries and stresses, and I just decided to take a break from driving. And so I was working a job that paid a lot lower amount of money, and I found that a motorcycle would be a lot cheaper transportation. So I bought a bike, and I've been riding as a daily rider for the last 10 years.
Yeah. So I mean, like, it's so easy to want something. I've always wanted to ride, and it took for years I've been saying I'm going to get my license. A couple times I registered for the class, and then things came up and I had to cancel. But I was comfortable. I was comfortable having a car. I was comfortable saying I'm going to do it one day. And finally I'm like, you know what? It's time to break out of that box and try and do it. And he was worried. Well, I don't know if you were worried about it. You were more like you're hoping that I'm going to love it as much as I would.
Yeah, I don't think I'm worried about it because I have, like I said, been riding most of my life, and bikes seem to go one of two ways. Well, I guess you could technically say three. People who love it, people who it's not their thing and they're never going to do it again, and then the people who do it but don't love it. They just do it because it's the cheapest form of transportation to get from point A to point B. And to me, that's the saddest group, because if it's not your thing, then you really shouldn't be on one.
Yeah.
Just move on. Do something a lot safer. They are dangerous. They are a little bit more of a risk to your life. People overlook you. Cars don't pay attention. So they have their own level of danger. Now, if you love it, it's worth the danger. It's skydiving, any of the other things, surfing, anything else that has that elevated level of risk. If you love it, it's worth it.
Yeah. But you won't know it until you go out there and do it.
And then there's different levels of people that love it. There's people that love the riding aspect and traveling on the bike, but can really care less what bike they're on. They don't care if it's an enduro or a Harley bagger or a street bike or a sport bike. They just don't care.
Cafe.
They don't get into the bike itself. They just enjoy riding it around. I, in fact, am a lover of bikes. There are all kinds of bikes that I love for different reasons, but I'm fortunate enough in my older age to have been able to buy the one bike in my life that ever since it came out, I've wanted it. And I think I'm not 100%, I don't know why I'm thinking it came out that they started making the Harley Street Glide in 07. I may be mistaken that because, I'm human and whatever.
Are you telling me there's something about Harley you don't?
But they made baggers forever, but they were considered the old guy bikes. Well, then they started making the street glides, which were streamlined, less chrome, a little more badass for the younger riders who wanted the fairing and the radio and the bags and wanted the cleaner, more hot rod look. And the day I first laid eyes on it, I said, that right there would be my ultimate bike. Like, one day I would love to own that bike. And then that day came into effect about 7 years ago. I bought my bike. And I have loved it ever since. I love riding more now than I ever have. And I've always loved it. And that's my baby. Yeah, that's my girl over there. My girlfriend even calls it my side. Well, my girlfriend says she's the side chick, and that's my main chick, if you get the reference. But I say it's the other way. I say the bike's my side chick, and she's my main chick.
I mean, and you even said, like...
I am blessed.
You wish you would have done it sooner, too.
Oh, if I had to do over again, I would have bought a Harley in my early 20s.
Yeah.
And just rode, if I'd known and had the vision of what a street glide could be, I would have bought a Harley bagger back in my 20s, and I would have eliminated it down to make, because you can take any bagger and turn it into a street glide. As far as a Harley, they're all pretty much the same bike. You just got to change out some fenders and some chromes and take all the baubles and extra gadgets off and just streamline it into just a really nice solid bike.
Now we just have to see if we can put a GoPro on her.
Yeah, that's my thing. I have a I don't like putting shit on my bike rule, but we're doing GoPros and rides, and with the show, we want to be able to bring some of that to you. So now I have decided, after this last week of riding with the helmet, which I'm not a helmet guy. I know I should be, but whatever. That's a whole different issue. But I put the GoPro on top of the helmet. I do not like it up there. You can't see it. If it blew off, you'd never know. You don't even know if it's turned on or if it's focused or aimed at what you want it at. You have no idea what it's doing up there. Every now and then you can tilt your head forward and catch a reflection in your tank strap that on my bike, because it's chrome, it'll reflect your image back to you. So I'm going to stick the GoPro mount on, I believe, the windshield, because at least it's a small part of the bike that's easily replaceable, unlike the fairing or the cowl, as they call it. So yeah, now it's never been a problem before, because usually Jenny rides with me, and when she's with me, she just operates the camera from behind me. Yeah. She'll hold it over my shoulder for frontwards. She'll take side views. She'll turn it around for backwards, because she has mobility back there. But now we're going to be doing some rides, and she's not going to be able to always be available. So,
and even when she is available, those are going to be long rides.
Well, what will also benefit is we'll have GoPro on your helmet.
Yeah.
Because Jeffrey wears a full face, or you wear a full face helmet, so you can put it on the helmet. And then we'll have a steady mount camera on my bike that only turns with the bike. It's pretty much straight ahead all times. And then we'll have Jenny with us, who will be on the back, who can get side views of the bikes around us and beside us. We can pass and get camera angles. Yeah. We can shoot behind the bike. We can also, we'll carry a small tripod in the bike so we can set it up on the side of the road and try to get some drive-bys and stuff like that.
And I mean, it's going to
bring you some decent content.
Just like with what we're doing here, everything's going to be an evolution. I mean, who knows? Maybe, I mean, if this is the content that people end up really liking, we can make different setups.
We are sharing our lives with you guys, but as we find out what people like to hear more about, what they would rather not hear about, the show will have its own evolution as we go along. So, we enjoy cigars, we enjoy whiskey, we enjoy, spending time in our bar, we enjoy family, barbecues, smoking meat, really enjoy.
Yeah, that was awesome.
We love bikes, we love riding, so we're going to be bringing all that kind of content to you, some trips and stuff like that.
And like today we're playing Family Dungeons and Dragons. And look, this is what I mean about the comfort of your comfort zone and out of the box. There's been some things in recent pop culture that have made it a little bit more open to the wider realm of people. Dungeons and Dragons is fun. You're role playing, you're acting, you're sitting around the table with people that usually
Here's the thing: it's no different than any other board game.
Yeah.
It's just a spoken game instead of a board. You still have moves, you have rules, you have things you're allowed to do. It's just fantasy. It's just I mean, I guess in large it's kind of silly, but it's also kind of fun if
fun.
you have the right people to
Yeah.
play with. I mean, I'm sure if you got competitive with it, I would have no interest. Like if it was some kind of like if you were playing some kind of competition or some kind of, where you play other people, I probably wouldn't want to do it. I like doing it because it's something the kids are into. They really get a really good kick out of building building all the little things
They spent
for it.
all night last night.
Playing it out,
making
quests,
miniatures and stuff.
and I'm cool with it. Whatever. It's fun. We'll get some food. Everybody will sit around. It brings Jeff and I, who are pretty much always hanging out, but then one of the other boys, his dad comes down, Nate, and hangs out with us, and so it's a good way for all of us to hang out with the kids.
It's a great time.
But it's not
fun.
that disconnect. Because you go to a lot of people's houses, and all the dads are sitting in one room talking, and all the kids are in another room, and they're calling it family time. That's not family time. So we try to do our family time where we do what the kids are doing, the kids do what we're doing. And now when I say kids, all of ours, except for a few, are over the age of 20, and then we have a couple under 20, but upper teens, and then we have a few that are lower.
The little ones. The little ones who are
about to enter teenage
just
years.
getting into those teenage angst.
And then we have the two grandkids that live here in town, and they're both, under the age of 5. One's still under the age of 1. And then I have two grandkids up in Jacksonville. They don't get down as often, and but they come down occasionally. We go up as often as we can and hang out with them.
But after talking about it, and get with everybody, I think we're going to set up the GoPro and record our session today. I don't know if it'll be a video. Don't know what's going to happen with it, but an experiment.
Yeah, one of the kids wants a time-lapse video of it, so it'll be without sound. It'll just be a time-lapse. So maybe we'll air that on the show. Just if it turns out nice and it's something, maybe we'll reference it in another episode.
And if not this time, maybe next time we'll make it a thing. We'll like I know Amanda, she's got her she calls it a cape, but it's more like a cloak. She's got this big heavy cloak. Plus, my wife's always cold. She's always cold. Doesn't matter where it is. I could be sitting on the couch sweating, and she'll be in under blanket shivering. It's just she's always cold. So it's kind of heavy, so she's going to bring that. Maybe next time I'm home and we play a game, we'll get into it and we'll record it and make a thing about it.
Yeah, maybe.
We'll talk about it. We'll see what happens. I mean, it's just, you don't know what you're going to like until you try it. And once you try it, you might be surprised some of the shit you enjoy. I love it. I love experimenting in things, trying new things. I mean, like one of our things that we do now, it's kind of rough because this weekend was about riding and getting the bike up, getting my first ride, getting the video, wrapping up our recording sessions for while I'm home, because all next week I'm going to be in Orlando at the dance competition. And then next weekend...
You didn't know he was a dancer, did you?
Oh, I got the moves. Oh, God. I got the moves. Luckily, there's only one video of me dancing, and it's already been shown, so don't need to worry about that. But next weekend, we got to help the kid move, so we won't be able to record much that weekend. So our weekend, this has been real tight, but what we want to start doing is we want to go out, we want to go to different like coffee shops or little breakfast nooks and try them out around town, let you guys know what we think. But that's like, it's out of our norm because we would so much rather sit here, order breakfast in, get it, sit here.
I don't think I would say it's out of our norm, because we have always went to restaurants and done stuff while you're home, just not on the same level we do it now. Now we're trying to do it like multiple places in a 4-week period, where it used to be we might hit up 1 or 2 places in the entirety of your being home, like Oak and Ember or Steamworks or some of the other places.
But we still fall into that hanging out at home, It's not, I wouldn't say norm, I would say comfort.
It's what was brought about during COVID.
Yeah.
Pre-COVID, Jenny and I were going out all the time. We had local spots, local bars, local restaurants that we like to go to almost all the time. Then COVID kind of hit and everybody started being more homebody, and Jenny and I run that realm where we're social people, but we also really like to just kind of geek out at home and binge watch shows, like seasons of shows, like the Vikings and Sons of Anarchy and Breaking Bad stuff, which binged the whole season in one run over a couple weeks, couple months, whatever. Depends on how long the season is. But we're trying to get out more. But we've also, COVID made us realize one thing is we hate going to the grocery store, so we get all that delivered now. We don't like the thought of getting ourselves into a position where we can no longer go to the bars and stuff like that and entertain and hang out with our friends. So we put a bar in our house. We built it. It's actually turned into quite a bar.
Yeah, quite a hangout spot.
And to me, that's the beauty of it is I like to go out and I like to socialize and hang out with outside people, as I call it. But I want all of my stuff at my house too. I want to be able to have my bar. I want to be able to have everything that I enjoy doing, smoking meat, all that in my own space, so that if it comes a time where we can't get out as much, excuse me, or anything like that, it's all here. I'm happy.
We're pretty much turning everything that we have and everything that we want into our man. Well, I wouldn't say man. It's just family. A home, everything that we want. I mean, we're at that age where we can start doing it. You know, we wanted a smoker.
We've moved up to an 85-inch TV, so really not. I mean, I'd rather watch that than go to a movie theater now.
Yeah, but there's very few exceptions that I'd want to say, like, oh, I'd go see that movie. Very few exceptions. But for the most part, I'd rather watch it at home.
Yeah.
The snacks are better. The group's better. It's more comfortable.
Yeah. No, I'm that way totally. I think, you know, the big Marvel movies, those are ones we wanted to see at the theater. Yeah. Deadpool's typically one we'd rather see at the theater.
Top Gun was one I wanted to see
Top Gun we wanted to see at the theater, or I guess it's Top Gun 2, whatever it was called. And then like the revision of It 1 and 2, definitely a theater worthy movie. Well, I'm a fan of Stephen King. He's not. We've had that discussion.
Yeah.
I'm a fan of his movies. I just like it. So when they said they were redoing it, now I've seen the old ones. When they said they were redoing it, I couldn't wait for it to come out.
Definitely something that, you know, again, bringing out of the comfort zone. I'm gonna have to watch it for him.
But my drinks,
stop being a bitch,
and my food, and bathroom breaks are all better at the house. I can pause the TV, go to the bathroom. I don't miss any part of the movie to go to the restroom. Same with snacks. If I got to get up and get more snacks, or if I want snacks, they're cheaper, they're better quality, and I can get them whenever I feel like it.
What we have to start doing is, so like when we went for the ride, we went up to Fort Pierce and we saw that, I don't even know what it was. Do you think it was like art?
It was a festival of some sort. Some kind of downtown festival.
Yeah, and I was just getting comfortable, so I saw the tents and I saw the people, but I was about to go through a roundabout.
Might have been less of a we didn't get out. We just saw it when we were by. It might have been less of a festival and more of a fair, like a craft fair.
So we need to start looking into those things. Ride over there, visit, look around, you know, like that sort of thing. That's something that we've got to definitely start doing more. We're getting to that point where we're starting to making plans for doing stuff like that.
I was not sure I would detect any of the licorice or almonds in this, but I can definitely kind of get a vibe on both of those.
I'm definitely not tasting any apple pie notes, but it's a deep chocolatey, maybe mocha, dark fruit, kind of like, I know I don't like raisin, but kind of raisiny. I really like this cigar. It'd be really good with like a darker whiskey. You know,
I've got an injured elbow, and I keep trying to bring my cigar up, and I can't get it to my face because of my elbow. So I have to smoke left-handed, and I'm not a left-handed smoker. I know that seems weird, but it just is what it is.
I'm anorexic. I can use both arms.
Yeah, you look anorexic.
Whoa, man, I mean, I can use both hands.
Like perhaps you ate 30 of them. But.
It's ambidextrous, but it's always funny when a fat guy says he's anorexic because I'm winning.
But
yeah, if you were attacked by an endless horde of 10-year-olds that were trying to kill you, and you had a baseball bat, how many could you take out before they took you out?
I would say 10-year-olds. Are they armed?
No, we'll just say
Just bare
they're
hands?
going to rip you apart. Bite, scratch.
I'd say you could probably get a good 10, maybe 20 of them before they took you down.
I would say, especially if you're surrounded and like your back's not to something, I'd say probably in the realm of like 20 to 25. Some people are like, oh, I can take out 50.
No.
You get exhausted.
Because if you ever see, they've done it in movies. They've depicted what a feral child is like. I mean,
yeah,
you get kids in the wrong frame of mind, they're basically a wild animal.
yeah.
And they're at 10, they're muscularly developed enough that if you pile 20 of them on top of you at one, like if you got an endless amount of them just coming at you at one time, you are not going to last long as you think. I say 10 to 20, and it might be 5 to 7.
Yeah, even
because if they hit you hard and fast enough and they start piling over top of each other,
they're going to be biting.
It's like a bug when a bunch of ants comes after it, or a rodent or anything. Those ants will cover it in moments.
And I mean, let's say your back is to it, so it's kind of like a half circle that are coming at you. Even if you're swinging the bat,
well, you're even worse if you're in a half circle because now you don't have good swing power.
Yeah, and if you're enough to get the swing. Like if you have enough room to actually get the swing, and you're hitting a 10-year-old hard enough to take them out, you're going to get tired.
Well, no, they're going to get a hold of your arms at some point, so you're going to have a harder time breaking free to even get a second swing.
Yeah, once they get a hold of you and they start, they get a hold of one arm. Now you're swinging one arm, so. Yeah. I would
10
say
10 to 20 might be giving myself too much credit because it might be even less. If they're all coming at you at the same exact time, you might be lucky to get 5.
I'm going for between 20 and 25 in perfect swing conditions.
The best thing you can do is, and here's why I think I can get 10 to 20, is do not swing a baseball swing. I think you get 2 or 3 if you swing baseball style. But if you swing up and down, you get more. Because you take one out by hitting him in the face as you go up, which then reverses you straight back down, and that way it's harder for them to come in so fast that your swing's only a foot long, and it does no damage.
The only way that I can see it actually working for me is continuous motion. You can't stop, because once you stop, it gives too much time. It's got to be a continuous thing, thumping, hitting, but rebounding, and got to be continuous.
So who knows?
Yeah, we're not going to test this unless you have a supply of maybe 1,000 10-year-olds that want to go for it. No.
No.
And another thing that's come up recently is, so we've had some strange weather in Florida, especially at the beginning of the summer. It's just been a little weird. We had a burn ban, which in the summer in Florida is wild.
We used to get them a lot back in the day.
In summer?
Yeah.
Oh, see, we've had them. I've known that we've had. Well, them
anytime it doesn't matter time of year. It matters amount of rain.
In summer, though.
It's rare to have them right now because it is rainy season, but not all of summer is rainy season. It's usually April, May, and then the rain levels out to a consistent, normal amount of rain.
Shit, I always had. Well, maybe because I lived in South Florida.
Yeah.
In Miami during the summer, there's afternoon monsoon, thunderstorm every day.
We get rain, but it's not every day, all summer long. Summer's at minimum 3 months, but in Florida, it's more like 4 months of summer before the temperatures start even letting up a little bit. And you'll get a lot of rain, but you get a lot of dry time between them. And sometimes, like this season, the son's over, just got here and brought his dog.
Brought the dog and the baby.
And we haven't met the dog yet, so.
But the weather's been so crazy that just this weekend alone, there were 6 out-of-state visitors who drowned, and then 2 Florida residents who drowned just this weekend.
Typically,
just yesterday.
Typically, it's the undertow in Florida that gets people that they don't realize that there is the current within which the waves are traveling as you look at them, either northeast or northwest or southwest on our coast. But they also don't realize that there's an undertow that can be going whichever direction the undercurrent's flowing, and it is strong.
So the waves come in, and if you actually take some time and are out there looking, you can see it. The waves come in, and after they come in, it kind of pulls away, kind of. You don't see it like separate, but you'll see the waves come in, and then when you notice, like on that, there's like certain areas where the water goes back out, and so the waves will come in certain spots. It comes back out, creates the undertow. So if you get caught in that current, which everybody knows knows the term undertow, but they don't understand it.
It'll drag you down. You won't be able to resurface it.
And I mean, you don't need to be far out. You get thigh deep, and it'll pull you in.
Yeah.
And you don't realize it, but you can be thigh deep, and you're just slowly going a little bit further back, and all of a sudden it's got you. And if you try to swim against it, you're not going to make it. You have to swim like parallel until you can get to the breaker, and then you ride the waves in. So actually, if it's coming from not from actually it doesn't matter. Weather coming from any direction is going to create that more waves, more current.
It's kind of like when you're standing outside and you feel the breeze and it's coming, let's say, from the south, but then you look at the weather and there's talking about the strong winds coming out of the north.
Yeah.
You're like, I can feel it. It's coming from the south. It's because in the atmosphere you have different levels and different air moving in different directions. It's the same way in the water. You got the regular tides and regular flow of water, but then you have that undercurrent that is the drawback of the sea. And now I'm not an ocean or whatever the hell they're called, but I'm not one of those. So I don't know all the specials, but it seems to me that it's due to the drawback of the water plus the inflow of the water creates a current. And then it is manipulated by depth, shoreline, reefs, anything that can shift that pressure of water.
And over time, that's exactly what happens. Over time, it just creates that area.
And that's how people get caught up in that undertow, and they just can't get out of it. Especially if they're not the strongest swimmers, and even strong swimmers.
Yeah, if you're fighting an undertow, it doesn't matter how strong you are. It's just going to pull you further out.
But sometimes the best thing you can do is flow with it. And it'll eventually hit a spot where it'll pitch you out or it'll weaken and you can come out. But
if you're going to waste,
a gamble.
If you're going to wait, and it's hard because people who are visiting and people who
they're used to lakes and rivers and stuff where the water is flowing slow.
When you're getting pulled out, because I've seen it happen. So the reason I know a little bit about it is back in the day. I mean, 25 years ago, I was a lifeguard. So part of the testing back then was learning about stuff. Even though I wasn't at the beach, I was at pools. Part of the learning was about learning about all that.
Yeah.
So when you're getting pulled out and you're looking at the beach and it's getting further away, you get scared. This is the ocean. You know what I mean? Everybody has that tendency to get scared. And the only way to survive it is to stay calm. And you tell somebody, especially who's not used to the ocean and maybe has a little bit of fear about the ocean and the deep ocean, even though it's not really that, it's deep for us, but it's not that deep ocean. And that you see the coast getting further and further away, they freak out and they're fighting that current. And that's terrifying. And we're just at the time right now where the weather is like a perfect combination of the timing and I guess with the tides, everything's a perfect mix for super dangerous waters. And then a couple weeks ago, we had all the shark attacks.
Yeah.
Nature's coming for us, man. Break out of the comfort zone, try new things. Don't be afraid to try new things. Include people in them.
And also, if there's anything you'd like us to try, experience, give a go, or at least a consideration of a go at, just list it in the comments, man. We're open for suggestions and stuff, and we'll film it.
Yeah.
If we decide to do it. You ask me something like mountain oysters, I'm out. Sorry. It's just not something I'm going to do.
I'm not going free ball skydiving. Not happening.
Within reason. If you put it in the comments and it's something we would be willing to do, and if it's not, we'll talk about why we're not interested in doing it.
That can be almost as fun as actually doing it.
So by all means.
But you good there?
Yeah, I'm good.
All right, we'll go ahead and close out here. Like, comment, subscribe. Let us know what you think, and
ring that bell.
We'll see you guys next time.
Next time, fellas and ladies.